Have you experienced racism here?
Nope.
Have you experienced racism here?
Not really. Nah.
Have you experienced racism here?
Never.
Have you experienced racism here?
No.
Have you experienced racism here?
No.
Not one person has experienced racism here. So here we are in Puerto Rico. You're Puerto Rican.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and we are going to do racism is an issue in Puerto Rico. Okay, ready? Don't move until I get to say move. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. Racism is an issue in Puerto Rico. Tell them why you think it's an issue in Puerto Rico. Tell them.
I think racism has been an issue in Puerto Rico for some centuries by now. You can see that there are few people of color in positions of power in politics, in local politics here. And there's also a little bit of discrimination. Sometimes it's like commentaries are try to be like innocent, like commentary about, oh, you have curly hair or you have like this other stuff. And there is a little bit of discrimination, I would say, and racism presence. Of course, not the same way that you could say either in the States, back in the United States or other parts of the world, but I'll say I agree that it's an issue here in Puerto Rico.
It isn't, and do you agree that it's an issue?
I slightly agree it's an issue because even though time has changed and we're living in the 24th century, we still feel a little side of racism. We can see in the streets. It's gone better with the years. It's slightly better in the last 20 years, but still has it.
At least for the youth of Puerto Rico, we don't really see race, and when we see people of like influence, like Bad Bunny, like we don't really see that racial issue anymore. So it's not really present in our culture, at least as like youth and normal college students. At least we don't see.
So how come you're on slightly disagree if it's not an issue? Shouldn't you be on disagree?
Because there's, instead of racism, it's more of where you're from. So let's say if you're from certain, like right over there is La Perla. If let's say if you say you were born and raised there, people are gonna see you with a side eye. They're gonna not want to talk to you because they're gonna think you're like a bad person, trying to rob somebody. But if you're from somewhere more nicer, they're gonna still like judge you. If you're from a caserio, that's by far, you're always gonna get that type of racism, but it's not like racism, I would say.
Okay. So you disagree that racism. Tell them why over there.
Well,
Because of the wind.
yeah, I disagree. The reason why I'm not strongly disagreeing is because of similar things that he said. If you're from specific places, como like un caserío,
Yeah.
or from over there, people like usually think that because you're from a place like not a place with a high crime rate or something like that, that you would be like other people that do that type of things.
And do they happen to be of a certain race if they're in bad neighborhoods?
Sometimes like they're more like brown or
Darker, you're saying?
yeah, darker. Like because usually example, people from Guaynabo, some people like they think that if you come from there, you're really privileged because that's like a really expensive place.
And are they white people?
Yeah, like a lot of people are white, but I don't think that it's because they're white. You know, it's
Are they
because-
gringos?
There are a lot. Yeah, there are a lot of Americans, but usually like my interactions with Americans are pretty chill. They're not.
And you don't consider yourself American?
I do. Yeah, technically.
Okay, technically. Okay, I'm
sure.
coming back to you. Racism, is it an issue in Puerto Rico?
In my opinion, I don't think that this is a issue in Puerto Rico. I don't feel like it's a thing that used to happen right now.
Tell those guys.
Oh, my English is very bad. But,
That's okay.
Okay. But yeah, I don't feel like these things happen anymore. Like I'm in college and I have a lot of friends with different color skin, different nationalities, and all of that stuff. But and we are all the same.
Have you experienced racism here?
Nope.
Have you experienced racism here?
Not really, nah.
Have you experienced racism here?
Never.
Have you experienced racism here?
No.
Have you experienced racism here?
No.
Not one person has experienced racism here. So if no one's experienced, can there be racism without racists?
Of course not, but I haven't experienced racism for myself, but I have seen it being thrown to some friends of mine, so that's why I stay
Here in
that
Puerto
region.
Rico.
Yeah, here in Puerto Rico. There's like this really easy example, like was telling you earlier about the example of having curly hair sometimes is called having bad hair, for example. And there are a lot of the Afro cultural traditions that we have here in Puerto Rico that sometimes are looked down onto, like music like bomba plena, like the urban music that come from that root. So you can see some discrimination and racism. I agree with them that there's more social economic discrimination here in Puerto Rico that plainly racism, but they both work together. And when you see those communities that are socially on a disadvantaged position, you can see that they are overrepresented by people of color in the demographics.
What is the best definition of racism? Would it be privilege plus power? Have you heard that before? Prejudice plus power. What's the best definition of racism?
I would say that it was some kind of privilege. Yeah. We'll see the blonde, blue eye guy better than the one who has color, the one who has more potential.
Can people be racist against the blonde-haired, blue-eyed person?
Yeah. Racism it comes for everybody. It doesn't matter. Only the racist comes from the person who acknowledge and wants to accept that racism can go to either way, to a dark person or a white with blue eyes person.
Do you agree with that? Racism goes both ways?
It really does, and mostly in Puerto Rico, where most of us are colored, and we see like a very white person with really white hair and like red skin because of the sunburn, and we're like, that people, I'm privileged people most of the time.
Privileged people.
Yeah, we usually think that because they're from the States or they have money, and usually we don't got money here, so.
Can black people be racist towards white people? White people be racist towards black people, and everybody? So, can anybody be racist toward anybody else?
Yeah, definitely. I agree because, for example, he gave a really good example too. And
Which one?
Both
Okay,
of them.
okay.
Both of them. Because like usually when you see like a tall white person, blonde hair, you start to think different things. But I think that's more because of what society has constructed around us.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
It has enforced certain stereotypes upon people. Like what he said, if you see a person that's white with burnt skin, you instantly think that he's American, and that's like usually not the case. Sometimes it is, but those are the small little things that are like, I would see that you're judging people because of the complexity of their skin.
Okay. I have a question for everybody. Is the phrase "Gringo go home," which is written on that bench right over there, is that racist?
Yeah, I think so, because like we are, we are like separating that type of people, like the people that live in North America, and I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Is the phrase "Gringo go home" racist?
I believe that racist response to a deeper problem that we're experiencing right now, which is gentrification. But definitely that type of slogan, I will consider racist and counterproductive to the cause of battling this social issue.
Okay. Is the phrase "Gringo go home" racist?
I don't believe that phrase is racist. I believe it's more as a colony. People understand that. Please don't don't come and colonize our country, or playas, or beaches, or structures. But I don't see that. It could be anybody. It could be dark skin. It could be white skin. That phrase doesn't come from a region.
Is colonization racist? I'm sorry. Is gentrification racist?
I'm sorry, I don't know what gentrification.
Gentrification is like when richer people go into a neighborhood and they buy up stuff, apartments. Is gentrification the gentry, like, and usually almost always kicking out poor people?
In our case, it really is because buying a house in Puerto Rico at this time is very, very hard. The prices are getting higher in places like Dorado, where most of the population is just full of Americans that buy houses to evade the tax law, that they don't get taxes if they stay here a month.
4%.
Yeah, that thing. And usually a lot of people just buy a lot of houses in like beach areas and they privatize beaches. So people can't go there.
So do you think gentrification has a racial part of it?
Yes, it really does.
Do you think gentrification is racist or has a racial component?
I mean, that's a hard question because you can see it both ways. Because you could see it in a way that it doesn't have to do with skin color, because you can be a person from whatever part of the world, India, China, come over here, and if you have money, you can buy land like the private beaches. Like you're pretty much cutting off a piece of the land that people use.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So I just want to make sure I understand because I don't know. If you're Chinese and you're wealthy, you can buy land here without a problem. Is that I don't know.
I think if it's you have American pass or American citizenship, I think it's.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if you have American citizenship and enough money, you can come over here and buy pieces of land, and that like kind of takes away from us. But at the same time, I think that it adds to our culture because it also mixes different people. For example, if a person comes from another country, they can like they could enrich our culture with their culture, and it creates more diversity.
So gentrification would be economic then and not racist, or you just because you get a bunch of rich Chinese people come in here, or would that be racist too? I mean, what if you had a bunch of rich people from like sub-Saharan Africa and they came in and bought up?
They can come and buy. I don't. That's like, again, I don't see it as like about the complexity of their skin. It's about like the social issue of us, like, and our land getting like not taken away. That's a harsh way to put it, but like, giving other people other benefits and inciting them to come and take public places.
Should Puerto Rico be a melting pot culturally and racially?
What does that mean?
What's the translation from melting pot? Is there one where people?
Yeah, I don't feel like that is something bad. I feel like it's more like adding diversity to our culture.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Final question, real quick. Are you proud to be Puerto Rican?
I'm definitely proud to be Puerto Rican.
You proud to be Puerto Rican?
Hasta la luna.
You proud to be Puerto Rican?
100%.
Yeah, definitely, I am.
Yeah. Final question. Can there be too much diversity in Puerto Rico? Is that possible?
I don't think so. Actually, Puerto Rico, sometimes called like a melting pot because there's this theory that was established by the guy in that statue right now, that Puerto Rico is a melting pot of cultures between the Spaniards, the African, and the local Taínos that were present during the conquest. So I would say that no, there's no such thing as diversity because also really right now there's like the majority of the people here in Puerto Rico are Puerto Ricans. Right now they're coming more immigrants and more people from abroad, and that's one of the stuff that we were talking about earlier.
Can there be too much diversity in Puerto Rico?
No, I can, but not. They're more than welcome.
Can there be too much diversity in Puerto Rico?
Absolutely not. The more people from different cultures, the more we are as a people united.
Can there be too much diversity in Puerto Rico?
No, because like it's I like experiencing new cultures, and I would welcome like that diversity.
Okay. Can there be too much diversity in Puerto Rico?
And no, I feel like being around of so different people make us like better.
All right, cool.